Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, called Egham, lived a man called Henry Strode. Henry Strode had a lot of very charitable friends, and they were called the Worshipful Company of Coopers.
Hello, boys.
One day, old Henry thought to himself,
If only there was a good, strong, substantial schoolhouse for the learning and edifying of the poor children of the parish of Egham.
and so he bequeathed the company £6,000 to establish such a school.
Yay, rejoice, huzzah!
Then he died.
Okay, I came here in August 2011. I came from a sixth form college in Brighton and Hove in Sussex, and so I started on the 17th of August 2011, so just over 3 years. I think students in particular, a lot of students like the fact that we've been here for a very long time. When we tried to remove the crest from the logo, there was an outcry. Students said, no, keep it, we really like it, we really like the buildings. So I think the history means a lot to some students. I think practically it means a great deal in specific terms. We have trustees and we have the Coopers Company. The Coopers Company provide travel awards every year for a couple of students and also bursaries for higher education. And every year one of our students is chosen as an apprentice to go into the City of London, which is a fantastic opportunity. And I think that makes us quite a bit different from other colleges too. So our history means different things to different people, but certainly students benefit from the long history that we have within the college. When I first came here, I was absolutely fascinated by what it must have been like back in the early days, back in the early 18th century, when the school was set up by Henry Strode's will. And it was set up as a small village school for boys, of course, and I often think back to what it must have been like in those early days. More recently, I've started thinking about the conversion to the sixth form college and what that must have been like for a whole series of girls coming in, all male teachers. I understand that it wasn't really until the mid to late 70s when the first female teachers were appointed. So I think my fascination depends on what mood I'm in, but there's so much, 300 plus years of history to delve into is a long time.
On the present site, 3 previous schools had been built upon it. After 1706, when the money left by Henry Strode created the first schoolhouse, it became a secondary school for boys in 1919 and was granted voluntary controlled status in 1950 as Strode's Grammar School. It finally became a co-educational sixth form college known as Strode's College in 1975 and was incorporated into a further education college in 1993.
Well, the thing about Strode's being such a kind of a beautiful and old historic building is that it really is the centre of the community, really, along with obviously Royal Holloway. It really does give the town something like to centre around, whereas if it was a modern kind of new building, maybe it wouldn't do the same thing.
I found some magazines, the old school magazines dating back to 1935 to 39. Rowing seems to figure quite prominently in the history of the college, as you might be aware. We do have a boathouse. But in here there's lots of interesting information about particular students. I've also found the log book from dating back to the 1980s, where there were 655 students here back in 1984. So that's not going right back to 1975. And particularly interesting for those students or people who are interested in the history of the college, there's a book here which was written by one of my predecessors, Pamela Maryfield, who was a principal here at the college. So there's lots and lots of stuff around for people who are interested in the history of the college.